Hey everybody, it's Nancy Lohr here. How you doing? I just cut a Facebook Live, but I had to kind of cut it short because we don't have a lot of internet reception here and I had to stay close by the house. But I just kind of walking the property here where I live. I live in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. It's really kind of remote. That's an old truck we got here, and it's really kind of cool. Actually, we keep it to haul firewood and stuff like that because we heat with wood. And we have a backup gas furnace, but the majority of the heat that we get is from a wood furnace that we have in the basement. So it's a beautiful day. I don't know, it's probably in the 20s. We got some snow coming down. I'm catching snowflakes on my tongue, doing fun stuff like that. But the snow isn't too deep. It's probably, I don't know, it's probably a couple feet in some areas, maybe less in certain areas, maybe about a foot. But this is where I live, and I live out in the boonies here. And there's a lot of things I like about it, and there's a few things that I don't really care for about it. But the good kind of outweighs the not so good. You have a lot of peace and quiet. We've got about 8 acres here. The rest of my husband's family lives not too far away. And they originally had like acres and acres and acres. But, through the years, they've sold off and stuff like that. So anyway, this is my world. This is my world. And it's a good world, but it can be challenging because being that I am an extrovert kind of person, then that means that I really get, my batteries get charged by connecting with people and by being social. It's a little tough to be social when you live out in the boonies sometimes, and that's where the internet comes in. Oh, it's just such a blessing. I don't know if you could see this, but there's some deer tracks here. Can you see them? We've got a lot of deer on our property. Can you see the deer tracks? Got a lot of deer on the property, a lot, and we feed them too. I feed them scraps and just vegetable scraps because you can't feed them meat. They're vegetarians, and as far as internet is concerned and stuff, I have satellite internet. It's not the best in the world, but there's other areas that don't have internet reception, so I'm pretty grateful for that. So I just thought I'd walk around the property and get some fresh air and then just kind of do a little video. It's kind of hard for you to see, and I know I can't go back and forth, I don't think. No, I couldn't. I don't know if you can go back and forth when you're doing a video. I know you can with a Facebook Live. I'm trying to walk around a little bit more here so that I can, venture out a little bit and kind of show you. Back there, my husband at one time was going to build a little cabin, like a guest cabin, but we kind of scrapped those plans. Sometimes you can have too many projects going on, you know what I mean? And over here is our house, the back of our house. We've got a ladder going up on the side there because that chimney there, we've got we heat by, like I said, by wood. And you got to go up and you got to clean that chimney every once in a while, otherwise it'll get plugged up and back up in the house. That has happened before. That is no flippin' fun, let me tell you. Okay, so walk out here a little bit more. Lots of pine trees, lots of apple trees. We got some apple trees. We've got this old chicken coop. Now, well, it's only a couple of years old, but I kind of tried my hand at raising chickens because I thought I would have a little bit more help. Actually, I did. I had help at the time, but I get a little crazy. Chickens, they're a lot of work, first of all. Second of all, don't let anybody tell you any different. Chickens need to be taken care of because they're not very bright, and they run around. I know now the term run around like a chicken with their head cut off. Boy, I really get it. But they end up getting killed, and I cry. I can't stand it. I just couldn't stand it. I mean, there's crazy stuff like sometimes you get an egg caught in their chute and you gotta put your hand up there and pull the egg out. I don't think so. It's just not happening for me. There's the chicken coop. Well, I mean the outside pen. They actually, at night, they would go into this little shack that my husband built. And at the end over here, I'll walk over here. And because they like to kind of huddle together, you know. And in the wintertime, boy, and then when we had them, it was like the coldest winter that I had ever known since I've been up here. And I had to keep them in there, and I was just so concerned for them, you know, because they couldn't move around. They were getting a little anxious. So this used to be our they call it the ice shack, the ice shanty. So they lived in the old ice shanty, you know. But you know, they stayed warm. They made it through the winter, and in the summertime they could go out here, or whenever it was warmer and there was no snow, even though they kind of waded through the snow a little bit. But when you got like 3 feet of snow, they're not going to wade through it, you know, easily. They're going to disappear. They had a lot of area to run. I only had like 10 chickens, but you would think I had like 400 the way I talk. But, you know, still, it was not easy. And then over here, we got an old school bus, because you just never know when an old school bus is going to come in handy, okay? And we got an old camper over there. My husband is a logger. He has a logging operation. So like the bus was used at times for when we had more equipment and he was working on stuff. He had a place to go in. And then the trailer, the camper, was something that the crew used to stay warm in too, you know, and have lunch and stuff like that when they're out in the woods. So, oh, and this right here. Let's see, ooh, what kind of tracks do we got here? We got some other tracks, and I don't really know what they are. They kind of disappear. Could be deer. This is an old hay rake. Can you see it? That's an old hay rake. They would cut the hay with this, I guess. And you know, there's a seat right here. These seats people love. They steal them sometimes so that people can make like decorations out of them and stuff, I guess. So anyway, yeah, that's what that is, an old hay rake that my husband's parents and grandparents used. And it's kind of like a decoration on our property. So, but it's a nice day out here. You know, this is just a portion of the property that we live on. We've got a garden on the other side. There's a workshop and garage over here and a couple storage sheds. And I don't know, just a lot of vehicles. Because up here, you don't get rid of old vehicles. You keep them on the property and use them for parts, you know. And you always buy the same vehicle, like a Ford truck or whatever, you know. And so you've always got like parts. You just rob them off the old vehicles. And people they stack them up in places that they call boneyards. I've learned a lot since I moved up here. I'm originally from Detroit, lived there for the first 44 years of my life, and I've been up here 15 years now. So, and then this is my house. That's my little house. The window over here, I was explaining in the Facebook Live, got broken because a partridge flew into it. And partridges do that sometimes because, from what I was told, they eat the berries off of the trees when they're old, and those berries ferment, and they get like a little tipsy or something. Now, I don't know, that could be true, that could not be true. I don't really remember who told me that, but it made sense to me because I couldn't figure out why partridge just flew into windows. I guess they saw the reflection or something. I don't know. Maybe somebody could enlighten me on that. But so I just wanted to take a spin around here and just show you guys where I reside. Over there are vehicles. There's my car and my husband's other 2 trucks, and the workshop and garage, where you don't park vehicles, you just park things that need to be repaired. And then I'm gonna take a little walk over here down the path to the woodshed, where if you're bad you get a whooping. No, I'm just kidding. But this is where we keep all the wood. We've got a lot of wood because we heat with wood, and my husband, being a logger, he's always bringing wood home. So there's our wood pile, okay? This is the wood pile. Kind of walking in between. This is like a little storage shed here. You can't really see all of it, but, and then this is where my husband has some parts, hangs hoses. There's bikes out here. There's, I mean, it just, woo, 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 woo. Just walked into a pile of something. I don't know what. But, and we also have a greenhouse. Now, here's more wood. I mean, that's just kind of an extension of what I just showed you. And, oh, it was so deep there, it just went right up into my boot. That's not very comfortable. So, this is our greenhouse. You can't really see it right now, and it's packed with a lot of stuff right now, but we, sometimes we have vegetables that in there and start seeds and stuff like that. It's kind of built off the garage. It's pretty warm in there. And I'm coming up here in between our trucks, and my husband's diligently working on cleaning off the trucks because we just had some snow. There's the big plow to plow our roads and to plow the woods roads where my husband works. And then here's our garden. You can't really see, we've got it all fenced in because the deer, let me tell you, they will eat you out of house and home if you just leave it open. You've got to protect it. We've had fences up before that they've trampled down and just to get to things in the garden. So, you know, it's a really, you got to really think. There's things you have to think about when you live out here that you don't have to think about in the city, and vice versa, you know. But we have peace and quiet. At night, there's no noise. It's beautiful. We have clean air. We have very clean water. Like I was saying in the Facebook Live, we have a shallow well, artesian well. And we got some of the best tasting water that you can imagine. So we're back to the old truck here. I love that old truck. And we've got a lot of space. So I'm going to sign off here now. I just gave you just a penny tour of the place. There's a lot more to it, but maybe for another day. So I'm going to sign off now. This is Nancy on New Year's Eve. Wishing you a wonderful New Year's Eve and a very prosperous 2017. And just want to let you know that you are wonderful beyond comparison. And don't forget it, okay? Thanks for checking in. Bye-bye.